Sandy Chilewich, and my company is Chilewich Sultan LLC, but the brand name is Chilewich.
And how long have you, what is the history of your brand a little bit?
Let's see, in I think 1999, I stumbled on this textile because I was looking for something else, and I happened upon this. And it was a woven textile that was mostly used for outdoor furniture upholstery. And I just fell madly in love with the potential of this textile, and just felt confident that with the right design applications, this material intrinsically had tremendous values because it was durable, washable, easy to maintain. Plus, I knew that if I worked directly with the factory, I could make it also a beautiful textile. So to me, that's the combination that is my passion.
Okay, great. And what does original design mean to you?
You know, it is a deep part of my DNA in general. So if something's been done, I'm just not interested. And of course, it's not about, you know, inventing electricity or, you know, discovering a medical device, but it has the same level of importance to me as a designer. And you know, for years and years from the beginning, I never looked outward for design. I really looked inward, and I looked at the past. And very much I'm motivated by looking at manufacturing processes and what can I do to that process to make something different, or what can I do to the product that comes out of that process that can be changed if I think it's underutilized. And it's all a very inventive process, and my design team don't work for me unless that is really who they are as well.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of man hours go into design? Because I think that's one of the problems that especially so many interior designers face, is that the end user doesn't realize the kind of man hours that come into original design. So what does that look like?
Oh man, I mean, it probably takes 4 to 6 months to bring something to market for us. And it starts with inspiration. It starts with pictures that we've taken, travels that we've done, museums we've gone to, art books that we've seen, a manufacturing process that's intriguing. And all of it is kind of gathered. I have 5 really talented people on my team. All educated more than I am in every kind of art media and design media. I personally I've never graduated from any kind of art school. I barely got out of college. I actually didn't. So everybody has all these inner resources in terms of making stuff. So that's a process of basically inspirational everything that goes up on walls and gets discussed, and we think and we think. And then we start to make them realistic, which is working with a loom that we have in our studio. We also work with so many other processes, so it's everything from laser cutting something to hand embossing something, all to kind of get the texture that we're after and simulate it to kind of discover, is this really important or not? And then we identify the manufacturers, and we have really just a small pool that have been partners for years. And then we go into the developmental part, and we find out through that process things that we might have to change or adapt to make something priced right and accessible to a wide range of people, which is also a big part of our DNA. And when I see, you know, people out there copying us and other people, it is really, they're stealing, you know, because they're taking all of the resources that we invested in, and our imagination and our hard work and our passions, and just, you know, copying it. It's just a very offensive, very cheap thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And if someone were in the store, how would they be able to determine whether or not something is a knockoff or if it's an original?
Well, it's interesting because I'm not a label person. However, as time went on, and since our product is so widely distributed, and there are knockoffs coming from Asia, we decided to put a very discreet Chilewich label on our placemats. And I was worried about it. The thing is, you can turn it over if you don't want to see it. there's been no pushback. Our sales have never been, we make 40,000 placements a week in our own facility. And then we also laminate all different kinds of backings to our material for floor covering and wall covering and so forth. But labeling it, I think, is an important thing, making sure your name is on it. And usually, most always, the imitators, there's a quality issue of some sort. But I think copies are better and better, unfortunately, in a lot of instances. But for us, with a permanent labor, it doesn't have a Chilewich label on it, then it's not Chilewich.
And what would you say to students who are coming out into the field and they may not understand, the work that goes into this, and they just look at, oh, well, it's close enough, it's cheap enough. Do you have any words of wisdom for students who are coming in as interior designers?
I'll have to say something that's kind of maybe controversial in this organization, but I think about this often because we've been indoctrinated visually by beautiful design. And if you don't have the money and you see something that looks just like it, will I be angry at that person for getting an Eames knockoff? Don't talk to TW.
Okay.
I'm really good friends with them. But it is something that I have a lot of sadness about, because I think what the problem is that there isn't enough new, innovative stuff that people want at affordable prices. And I think it is a challenge to get that. I mean, I think you can't tell people don't do it. I think you have to get them to kind of emotionally connect with what it means to make something. And so they kind of understand it and feel it. I don't know. It is a big dilemma.
Yeah. Lots of different aspects that come into it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's controversial, but I think even the controversy is a good thing, and it brings it all up to the fore. I think when you say designers, you mean the guys that specify products, okay?
Yes.
And they have a low budget, but the person really wants, a wound chair, center wound chair. How do you justify? Well, you really shouldn't buy that one. You should buy this one. I don't know. I think somebody has to keep designing great chairs. That's, to me, what should be happening. And I don't think that the innovative designers out there, they need to be supported so that they're pushed into the forefront, so that people see that as an alternative and not continually going back to the icons. I own icons. I love them. But I also love new, fresh ideas. And I think this organization, honestly, could be much more supportive of that instead of just protecting the icons. Let's enrich the newcomers in here to make better design. And also, I think a lot of designers are very nervous, and I've spoken to students, for years, and graduate students and new designers, that worrying about knockoffs and all that is very paralyzing, and just get rid of that. And you just have to, because anyone that's talented, nobody can take that away from you. And you should use it and just keep designing.
Okay, great. And is there anything that I haven't asked that you would like to make sure is said?
Well, one of the questions I know that came beforehand is, what do I do with knockoffs? And it is I pick my battles. We've certainly gone after people, have stopped them. We've done some big cease and desist. The other thing we've done is we shamed people. I mean, there are some people that are not aware that it's happening in different places within the company, and it's shaming them. And then there's some people like it's not worth it. It's like they're a junkie company selling to a junkie store, and who really cares?
Okay, great.